Hey yo, how's it going guys? It is Arts and today I'm back with another Third Age Reforged video. Now today I am back with a simple 1v1. We have Gondor versus Arthedain. So without further ado, let's get straight into the army comps. I'm going to start off with Arthedain over here. So Arthedain played by Fool, YOLO and Prey. Nice name. He's got a unit of the dismounted Knights of Numenor, heavy infantry. Interesting that they're split far away from the army, but I guess that's for a reason. In this front line, he's got some Arthedain pikemen, some Dunedain peacekeepers, a Numenor gate guards, and another unit of the Dunedain peacekeepers and pikemen. Behind them, he's also got another unit of the Arthedain pikes, and then mixed into the central line, he's got some where did the name go? Fornos Arain defenders, I believe. What's that? A unit or two? Yeah, 2 units there, and then he's also got some Arthedain men at arms, I believe. That's 2 units, and then one more unit. One unit of the dismounted Fornos Arain knights, which look pretty good. Big 2-hand swords. In this third line, he's got some Wardens of the North, which his general is in. This is an elite archer unit. Yeah, they actually look quite nice. I like their armor, even though it's not like super armor. I still like the leather. Over next, he's got some Arthedain marksmen, the pretty standard bulk of the archer forces. For Arthedain, he's got 2 units of them, and he's also got some Fornos Arain defenders mixed in with some Arthedain marksmen. I think those 2 units just overlap. In the back, he's got 1 unit of Arthedain sergeants and 1 unit of Dunedain mounted company. And then taking the defensive position on top of this hill, kind of, you have Gondor, played by Faceless King, which is actually a pretty convenient name because I watched the Game of Thrones premiere this morning at 2 AM actually, and obviously the Faceless Men are part of that, but more of that later. So yeah, Gondor, played by the Faceless King. He's got a mix here. He's got, oh look, catapult shots going off already. Oh god, I put it in there you go, too fast. He's got some Gondor spearmen mixed in with Gondor infantry along this line. That is a good mix. It definitely holds the line super well, because once the spears get slightly overrun and put in close quarter combat, the infantry support that. So that is a good way to hold the line. I'd just be wary of artillery fire and also archer fire, because it can create gaps and thin the line quite a bit, and they'll get overwhelmed easily. On the other kind of branch of this line, he's got some Guards of Osgiliath and some Care Andrew Swordmasters, plural. I'm gonna assume this is where he's expecting the bulk of the infantry to come from, because that is where his most elite units are. You got these big 2-handed swordsmen, the heavy infantry, the more expensive ones, as well with the more expensive equivalent of the spears and or pikes. So he's got that running along. I believe that's 2 units of each, maybe, or they're just spread quite thin. I can't tell. So he's got the same going across. I think that's a different unit there. So he's got the same going all the way across here. And then when you get into this other flank, he's got the same as what he had before. So Gondor spearmen mixed with Gondor infantry, pretty much all the way down to the end here. In the here's the second row. He's got some more elite units, especially with the marksmen or the missile units. He's got some Athelian Rangers, which are pretty good, to be honest. I think they're definitely classed as better than kind of normal archers, but I wouldn't class them as the best, but they're definitely still pretty good. He's also got some veterans of Osgiliath. These guys are pretty decent as well. Again, I wouldn't say they're the best, but they're definitely better than the average. And he's also got another unit of Athelian Rangers. Now, these guys are actually hiding, so this will be interesting, but I'll get more on that in a bit. In the back, he's got some reserves of Gondor infantry. Again, just a pretty standard unit, and another unit of spearmen, so I assume he's just going to use these to bolster up the line, probably. I guess we'll see what happens. So, and then right in the back, he's got some Gandalf's retinue bodyguard, as you can see Gandalf here, and he's just got a catapult. So I'll just put this on play and we'll get right into it. Straight away, one thing I've noticed when I first loaded up the battle was to see that Gondor is obviously taking the defensive position here. I don't think you need to be a genius to notice that, but it is quite obvious. These guys hiding still. Now, these guys weren't hiding. Okay, so this is, like I said, I was going to talk about them. So now that Arthedain's charging up here, obviously at first he saw 1 unit of these veterans of Osgiliath, and now look at this. What they called Athelian Rangers have popped out and they've started firing. So I guess this can be a little bit of a surprise, but he's far enough away that, you know, it's not exactly to make much of a difference. But here we go, one of the reserve units, so you've got the Gondor infantry and the Gondor spearmen, both their reserve units are going straight round to the back to defend from the cavalry. This is interesting where he put his catapult. He probably should have put it more forward, I say, behind where these guys were, or where these guys were, and put the catapult behind them just in case something like this did happen. I think that's kind of one of the bad things about these defensive formations. Look at it, it looks pretty sturdy, but this entire back area is just completely open. So imagine a unit of cavalry getting around and charging straight into the back of these guys whilst the infantry hammer the front. I don't think that would be very good. There we go, the Gondor spearmen aren't actually going to make it in time, so some of the cav did die, but here we go, so Gondor infantry. Interesting choice to defend the catapult. I would have put the spearmen to defend the catapult for obvious reasons. There we go. A number of them died in the charge, what, 15, 20 maybe? But now the Arthur they're not gonna, stand as well. I don't believe these guys are necessarily hammer and anvil cavalry. I do believe they are a little bit better in prolonged melee, but I still wouldn't consider them good. I mean, look at this. As well, with the support of the archers and them being in prolonged melee, it killed plenty of them, to be honest. But here we go. The Dunedain Mounted Company, more of a light cavalry force, cheaper force. Look, charging straight into the infantry there. Look at that, kill it. That killed about 50, 60 in the charge. So that was decent. And now they're engaged in the catapults. That's just going to completely disrupt the firing of the catapult. Here we go. There's a charge coming in now, or a very slow charge. The Dunedain Peacekeepers are very slowly making their way into the battle. God, this is going to be a confusing enough battle. All the units look the same. I'm pretty sure, I mean, I'm not too sure on my lore here, but I believe Arthedain and Gondor are somewhat similarly related. There you go, so you got the Arthedain pikemen, not in formation. They're looking like a bit of a rabble, to be honest. They're having a go at the Gondor infantry and spears here. I wonder how they'll fare, but looks like he's concentrating the bulk of the force here. So this is going to be interesting, because if he can break through here, which it looks like he might actually end up doing, it's going to lead him to course around and to be able to run around the Gondor lines, and then the Faceless King is going to have to completely move all his units. Like I said, I do like this kind of formation, but it has, I mean, it's easy to set up, but it's just got too many cons. I mean, look at these guys here. This is like 4 or 5 units here, and this is going to be hard now, because if he drags them away over here, his cav could come round or what. Like, it's hard to tell, so every decision that he's going to make in this kind of defense is going to affect it. And speaking of this, the Guards of Osgiliath and the Caer-Andros Swordmasters are abandoning their position on the front. I think now that he's done that, he should definitely move this clump. There we go, he is moving this clump back over here, but they've split the line in two, so now Gondor has actually got a gap in their lines, a gap which leads straight to the Athelian Rangers. So if Arthedain can utilise his cav properly, then that could pack a massive punch. There we go, so he's completely changed the formation. He's made kind of like a right angle around Arthedain. Now I wonder if he's going to move these units and go around this side here, so like corner them in, so it like flips the shape they had up kind of like inwards. So instead of them facing inwards, they're now facing like outwards towards them. There we go. If we go back over, look at this. The catapult not being protective effectively anyway. But here we go. The Arthedain sergeants are routing. It's unlikely that they're probably going to come back. I mean, they've lost pretty much 90-95% of their unit, and they'll probably be out of the battlefield before they even think about coming back. But Gandalf's retinue bodyguard is actually chasing them completely. Oh no, okay, they've stopped now. There you go. Look at that. That Gondor infantry unit, 120 men gone, just like that, just from that charge. And the catapult is... There you go, look, catapult crews down. So, I think that was probably worth the sacrifice, because imagine the catapult in a scenario like this. I mean, if you watch the a battle I did recorded about 2 weeks ago, the Siege of Rivendell, you could see how deadly a catapult was. So I think it was good on Arthedain's part to definitely take out that catapult, even if it means sacrificing pretty much the entire unit of cav. There we go, so Arthedain just making a battering full push. So the Gondor Spearmen and Infantry again using this kind of right angle and kind of trying to enclose them here. What's this? So the Athelian Rangers lost almost half their units, so they going toe to toe with They are going toe-to-toe with the Arthurdine marksman. I'm going to assume that the Arthurdine marksman got the shots off first because I believe the Athenian Rangers are better. There we go. But they also had a smaller unit to start with, I think. Here we go. Gondor has just completely abandoned their defensive position. Now that Arthurdine is just charged into one kind of location, they've abandoned their defensive position. Now they're just going straight in. So we've got the mix of everyone now. We've got the Guards of Osgiliath, the infantry, the spears. Is the Carandros Swordmasters in there? Yeah, they're in there as well. Somewhere, anyway. But they're going toe-to-toe with some pretty decent units. The Arthurdine Pikemen, the Numenos Gate Guards. Look at them. They're coming straight in now. They don't give a shit. There you go. What kind of reserves does he have? So he's got the Dunedain Rangers and the Wardens of the North. They're still firing. Gandalf's retinue bodyguard has charged into the Arthurdine marksmen, who are now down to 30 men. When we last saw them, they were around 75, I believe. This is interesting. He started off... Well, didn't he start off as a unit of 26? So maybe he's not lost anyone. Doesn't really look like heavy cavalry, though. It looks pretty much like a standard cavalry unit. But I guess they just didn't dress up the horses or anything like that. Here we go. Boom. Look at that. Number of men died there. There you go. Back down to around 10. Yeah. So this unit is pretty much gone now, so they're going to stop focusing down the Athenian Rangers, who actually are out of ammo already. Bloody hell. They're just stood there now. I'm not sure if the players actually noticed that they're out of ammo. So, easy target for the Arthurdine missile units, whatever's left of them. Speaking of whatever's left of them, not much now. Here we go. Gandalf's retinue bodyguard. Getting a good amount of kills. See, this is where you kind of have to debate whether losing his Arthurdine losing his cavalry at the start was worth it, because now Gandalf's bodyguard is just completely running around free, and they've killed the majority of Arthurdine's missile forces now, so it's pretty much just down to the infantry. But speaking of that, these men-at-arms and these spears and pikes, they're going toe-to-toe with the Gondor spearmen and infantry here. It's hard to tell who's who. I think where my mouse is now separates it. I think you can see these guys have got a little bit more like shiny silver and gold, but these are black and kind of like darkened. Yeah, I think this is like steel and this is just painted steel or something. I don't fucking know. But the veterans of Oscar... Oh, gonna get a volley in. I did not see where that was, but the Fornost Arrayed defenders have just completely broken through this right angled triangle, which as you can see started here, but I guess got pushed back, so now it's just gone into two clumps. You've got this big clump here, and you got this big clump here, but look at the gap. Oh, here we go, this will be interesting. Gandalf's retinue bodyguard. There we go, straight in the back of these peacekeepers, these men-at-arms. Not sure how good they're going to be in prolonged melee, though. I think if I was him, I'd just do some hammer and anvil, get out of there quickly. Yeah, there you go, that's what he's doing, because the pikemen are... Oh, if he'd have got caught... If he'd have been caught by the pikemen, that would have been very dangerous. Very dangerous. Okay, so the pikemen just idle right now. They could get through this gap. I'll tell you one thing you should definitely... Oh, no, okay. So Gondor's got another unit of infantry. I didn't actually notice these guys. Oh, God, and he's got these Guards of Osgiliath. And the Carandros Swordmasters. Bloody hell, Gondor's just got plenty of reinforcements here. There's pretty much 2 full units plus Gondor infantry. They're gonna... I'm thinking they're gonna circle round and hit these pikes in the back, maybe? Or the pikes are gonna hit them. Yeah, so the pikes are gonna rush at them first, I believe. There you go, we'll see. Okay, no, they're gonna go into the back of the men-at-arms and the arrayed defenders. So this circles, well, doesn't fully circle, but it partially surrounds the Fornost arrayed defenders and the men-at-arms here. So it'll be an interesting battle. I think Arthurdine will probably lose on this clump here. Man, I did not realise how much infantry Gondor had. That was a lot, to say the least. The veterans of Osgiliath in melee now with the Wardens of the North. So missile versus missile. So you got, what's this? 2-handers versus shield and 1-handers. It's hard to tell who's going to win here. I haven't used these units enough to be able to tell you who's better in melee. That guy's about to get murdered. There we go, he's dead. There we go, so what are these? Oh, God. The Guards of Osgiliath, they're taking up a defensive position, doing what exactly? I'm not really sure. You should probably loop round or loop through this gap or go around the side where my cursor is now and get behind the Arthurdine pikemen and the Numenos Gate Guards. So if he can surround both these clumps here, like he's actually trying to do with this clump as well, then I do believe Arthedain will probably lose this one. Here we are. So Gondor's tactic of surrounding them kind of worked, but didn't really. It's more focused their attention on the pikemen. Now I think if he'd waited 10 or 15 seconds for the pikemen to be properly in the battle, then the surrounding them would have definitely worked more. But the Carandros Swordmasters, oh, here we go, someone's going to die. There we go, and boom. I'm assuming he chopped his head off, but Med 2 graphics say no. This game is, what, like 13 years old anyway. I think, was it 2006? I believe it was 2006, but for a game that was made in 2006, I bloody love it. It's actually got decent graphics for 2006. There we go. Have you guys seen the new trailer for, what was it? Was it Total War 3 Kingdoms? Was that it? I believe it's like this, it's kind of like Chinese dynasties. I haven't really done enough research on it. I just pretty much looked at the title, looked at some, read a couple things about it, only spent like 5 minutes looking at it. So I can't decide if it looks good enough for me to buy. But I don't usually go for these new Total War games because I don't like what they did with the UI after Med 2. Like, I like the campaign UI, but when it got to Attila, it got way too confusing for me, and I just never learnt it. I tried it a couple times, didn't really get the hang of it, and I haven't really tried to learn it since, so I just stick with Med 2 really. But I got Attila on sale for like £4 anyway, so not really a big loss. But yeah, back to the battle. These pikemen are actually holding pretty well here. I think, there you go, the Guards of Osgiliath are actually in the battle. Now they're going against the pikemen and the gate guards here. So pike versus pike. But I completely underestimated how many spears and pikes were in this battle. There's bloody loads of them. Oh my god, and Gondor has another unit. They're everywhere. So you've got the Guards of Osgiliath. I wonder what they're doing. Are they going to surround someone? I don't know who. They're walking around. Speed this up a little bit, see what they're going to do. Okay, they're getting in formation. And they're fighting the Dismounted Knights of Numenos. Oh, I forgot Arthedain had these. Pretty much, I wouldn't say an elite infantry unit, but better than the standard infantry unit. Oh, that guy just got taken out. Or, no? What the hell happened there? He got stabbed in the back and... Oh, here we go. Gandalf's retinue bodyguard. Straight into the back of the Dismounted Knights of Numenos. Now the Guards of Osgiliath are... Oh god, the Arthedain pikemen. Again, these guys as well. Straight into the back of the Guards of Osgiliath here. But half of them are facing the wrong way and backing up. This seems like a flawed tactic, not gonna lie. Alright, let's see what happened over here. Okay, so it looks like Arthedain actually won this engagement. So Gondor Infantry and the Carandros Swordmasters haven't got really much left on them. There you go. What's this unit? 6 in the Gondor Infantry, and what was that? 17. So that was 17 in the Carandros Swordmasters. But the Guards of Osgiliath, I highly suggest they get into the battle now before these guys get absolutely wrecked. Because like I said, and like we've seen before, the infantry mixed with pikes and spears do make a good mix, and they do make a good hold. There you go. I don't even know where half these units are coming from. Like, both armies are just pulling units out the ground, just spawning them in. But ooh, what's this? So 37 Gondor infantry versus the Arthedain men. Oh, that's close. I think they pretty much got the same amount. Arthedain men at arms, I do believe, are a little bit better than though. The veterans of Osgiliath back in melee again. I'm not sure where they went. They're still up on pretty much like full stamina, I guess you could call it. So they're fresh and eager, as it says, and they're not tired at all, which is interesting because I thought they were in a melee engagement about 5 or 10 minutes ago, but you know. Well, I really thought Gondor were going to win this, but I'm really not sure now. It's hard to tell. The Carandros Swordmasters, I still can't tell if they're good or not. I mean, I think they've got a good attack, but their defense is pretty weak. I keep seeing a lot of them die. Yeah, and that guy's holding his sword wrong. I don't know why you've got like the two-handed sword, but you're holding part of it by the blade. That doesn't really make any sense, but you know. So these Arthedain men at arms, that's 15 men routing now. So these Swordmasters are actually free, so they could probably help in the back of these, what's this, like peacekeepers and all that. So they need to kind of get in the engagement now. That's one thing I find hard about winning pitch battles, is that you're constantly, obviously in any battle, you're constantly having to manage people, but especially in pitch battles when units rout quite quickly, I find it's very hard to manage a lot of units. It's quite tedious, so you have to be on top of it for the duration of the battle, you know, just click, 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 do this, do that. Like I was saying, these guards of Osgiliath have just pretty much been stood here the majority of the battle, to be honest. But the Numenos Gate guards are tired and very depleted. I'm not really sure what's going on. A lot of the units just seem to be standing around, but obviously they're fresh out of the engagement. So these Arthurdine units just routed from this little engagement here, so I don't think he's noticed, and they're just sat here. Yeah, as the commentator's saying, or the narrator or whatever, he's saying, what's it called, that the victory is in our favour. I'm pretty sure, I can't remember whose perspective this was from, we'll have to see at the end. I think it was from Gondor's perspective. There you go, so the veterans of Osgiliath actually are looking decent in melee. They've probably only lost about 10-15 men since we last saw them, and they're doing pretty well against these Arthurdine men-at-arms, who are a heavy infantry unit, as it says. I just tried to point at the screen, as it says next to their name on the little, like, information tab. But they are exhausted, so that probably does have a little effect. I'm not actually sure what the actual effect of it does. Like, does it deplete their, like, defense and attack? I'm not too sure. I'll have to do some research into that, but I'm pretty sure it has enough of an effect to make them lose or win this fight. But here we go. Arthurdine General getting his ass kicked by this fucking... Look at that. Ooh, I blocked that one. I wonder who's going to win this. Like a little... Oh, he got... Oh, jeez. Got stabbed like 3 times there. 4 times. He's getting pushed back. He's getting isolated from his men. Oh, he's all by himself now. I don't know who that guy is. Is that the... No, Gandalf's their general. This is just a lone unit. I don't even know where he's from. But look, he's getting the shit kicked out of him. Oh, that's sad. Is he routing? He is routing. Are they going to chase him though? Oh god, where's Gandalf's bodyguard? There we go. Uh-oh. Oh no! Oh, he didn't. So the general did actually make it out alive. But there we go. So they deployed, actually, ooh, very close. They pretty much deployed the same amount of men. Wow. There were about 5,000 men there. I didn't, about 5,500 actually. I didn't even notice. It didn't look like that. I mean, Gondor looked like they had a lot of men, but I'm not sure about Arthurdine. But yeah, so it was from the perspective of Gondor. So here we go. Look, Gandalf's bodyguard inflicting 280 casualties. Oh my! The Athelian Rangers getting 610 casualties inflicted. I have never seen a unit kill so many people, and I did not even notice that. That's gotta be a glitch. 610. I think the highest I've ever seen is probably the mid 300s. Everyone else doing pretty mediocre. The veterans was Gilead doing well. Gondor Spearman, that unit getting alright. Gandalf's bodyguard, yeah. Guards was Gilead. If you get like kind of over 100, 150 kills, then your unit did pretty well. Well, yeah, that was pretty good. So to do better, I think Arthurdine, knowing that, obviously he didn't know this at the time, but I don't think the catapult would have actually made that much of a difference based on what happened with all the units being clustered in together. So I don't think he should have wasted his cavalry trying to get that catapult, and he should have definitely taken out those archers before anything. Although, to be fair, I'm not sure he could have like known that the catapult wouldn't have done much, because I would have gone for the catapult first, as most people would, as it does pose an immediate threat. But yeah, I think going for the Rangers first probably could have saved this. But I mean, think about if he took out those Rangers at the start. Not that Ranger. That Ranger unit. Actually, both Ranger units, that's 800 men. That's like that's a quarter of his army. That's like, what, 5-6 units? Wow. That's fantastic. I got a screenshot of that. I'm going to post it in the Reforged Discord. Alright. Anyway, thank you guys ever so much for watching. I know this was a short battle. The next one is longer. I've got a lot in my replay list, and all of them are like... There's one which is like 59,000 frames. That's going to bloody take like an hour and a half to record. But yeah, so anyway, thank you guys ever so much for watching. Please do like, subscribe, join my Discord. I'll have a link for that in the description. We just come on there, talk, chill, play games, Med2, whatever we have in common really, and that kind of thing. And yeah, please do subscribe. You know, we're on the road to 50. Yeah, so thank you guys ever so much for watching. It's been Arts, and peace.